Breaking news in the football world. Nick Saban has hung it up. He's no longer coaching for Alabama. So the truth or fluke question for this is, will Nick Saban ever coach again? I'm going with truth. I don't believe 1 second of this story at all that he's just going to call it quits. He's one of the greatest of all time, maybe the greatest in college football, and he did not just hang it up after making it to the college football playoff and not winning, and also after that ridiculous play that the game ended on. I can't see him calling his magnificent career on that. The dude's a winner either way, though, if he does decide, that really is it. I just find it really hard to believe that he hung it up.
So this is a fluke. He will not coach again. And I have three reasons why. One is, we kind of talked about it last podcast, the grind of this season, and he mentioned it today in his interview, the grind of this season, he probably did more coaching this year than he has in the last 2 decades, right? So that takes a toll on a 72-year-old man.
For sure.
So age is my second reason. My third reason is, with the way that collegiate sports is moving, why put up with this shit? I had the same questions when Jay Wright stepped down from Villanova basketball about, why, oh my God, the program's screwed, and the program hasn't gotten back to what it was when he was there, and they probably would have been 10 times better last year with him. But when you're looking at, Saban's situation, it's very similar. They dominated at their respective level for X amount of years, and I just think the guy's done. He's done everything he's needed to do.
Yeah, I mean, he can't achieve more. I think 6 national titles, 6 or 7, 5 or 6 with Bama, 1 with LSU. He's not going to coach in college anymore. What job is he even going to go to? Alabama is the precipice, and he brought them back from the bowels of hell. I mean, out in the group chat, we were talking about, I asked you, Jedi, if you remembered those early 2000s Alabama teams that weren't good, that would win 4 or 5 games in a year. It wasn't the Alabama that you come to expect now. I think he's done coaching professionally. I think he's done coaching collegiately. I think you're right, Dino. 72 years old. He's reached the mountaintop. I watched an interview with that he had with Pat McAfee a couple weeks ago, and you could tell that he was tired. And they were talking about NIL and where it was going, and you could tell that he was almost tired from it and had no idea where it was going. And for a legend of the game to have no idea where the game's going, I think he saw the writing on the wall. He knew, not that he couldn't recruit, but just that how much more time and effort it's going to take to do it.
Yeah, and we can't forget, he already coached in the NFL. Didn't have success there necessarily, but he went 292, 71, and 1. Somehow there was a tie in college. That's unreal. And he's had 49 players in the first round. So,
Jesus.
He
turned it into a factory.
Yeah, he's the best that's ever coached college football, and if you notice, some of the names that they're throwing out there are extremely interesting.
Yeah, so
my next question is a little bonus: is do you think that Alabama is just gonna fall down flat face, or you think they're gonna keep it going?
Well, but who? All right, so that's a great question. So who's the number one? What is the name? What name can come into Alabama following up the legend, arguably the greatest coach in college football, other than Bear Bryant, possibly? Also at Alabama, who's going to come in and be able to replicate anything close to what he did?
Jimmy boy. I'm joking. I know he's not going.
No, but you have to take someone that's young enough that has seen success in a recent past.
So who? Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin,
I've seen Texas' head coach has been.
Sark ain't going anywhere. They threw the book at Sark.
That's the one that's the big candidate I keep seeing.
You looking at Kalen DeBoer or Mike Norvell?
Yeah. I think it's DeBoer.
Well, I forget the AD's name, Alabama's AD. I was listening to the radio today, and they said the AD came out and said they're going to have a head coach within 72 hours at this press conference. So,
wow,
what are we, 48 hours away roughly? So we'll see.
I mean, the only reason I asked the question before him was just because right when I texted you guys, I said over under how many decommits do they get? Because if you saw Nick Saban's interview, a lot of the things that a lot of the recruits were asking him is, hey, can you promise that you're going to be here all 4 years and I'm going to be there and stuff? So, I mean, clearly he means a lot to these recruits. So I'm just curious if they're going to be all right, I'm out of here. And then they kind of have to start from scratch, maybe a little bit. They'll still be competitive, of course, but not the top tier Alabama that we know.
They've lost one already. Depending on who they hire, I'll make my choice, right? But if you think Saban's walking out the door and not facilitating anything, you're nuts.
Yeah, he's not going to leave them in a terrible position.
He's the
That's
one
fair
conducting the interviews.
I would imagine he has a very, very strong hand in those interviews, yeah.